What up? What up? What it is? What it do? Welcome to another exciting episode of The Real Deal. Let's get it. What's good? And what's good? I'm your host, as always, Courtney Harden. Thanks for everyone that's tuning in. We got a lot to get into. New episode, NFL draft, NBA playoffs, a little bit of WNBA of solo today. So, welcome everyone that's tuning in on The Real Deal. I'm your host again, as always, Courtney Harden. Excited to be back with a new episode on this Saturday, April 27th. That's the end of April, springtime, warm weather is coming. So, yeah, I'm just glad, like I said, glad to be back with another episode. You can find it. You can find all the episodes, past episodes, previous episodes. You can find them on all podcast platforms, whether it's Google Play, Spotify, wherever you get podcasts, Apple. You can also follow the show at Get the Real Deal on Twitter, also on Facebook and Instagram. I am on Instagram Live as well. So if you have any comments or anything like that, please let me know. Like I said, with NFL draft is going on in the comments. Let us know. Let me know anything with your teams or anything like that. So, yeah, we just a lot of stuff's happening. Follow the show on the BS3 network, Roku, Spreaker, and all those things as well. So let's get into this show today. I'm not going to be with you guys too much. Not going to be with you guys too long today. Like I said, by myself today, no guests. So just want to get into a little NFL draft and NFL draft and some NBA playoffs and a little bit of WNBA. So let's get into it. And again, you can check us out on Roku, BS3 TV app, the Roku channel. Download the app, find all of our shows there, bs3network.com. Like I said, we're on YouTube, we're on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all the podcasts and social media platforms. But let's get into the draft. The draft has already done their first 3 rounds. They're on round 4 as we speak, as we're airing the show right now. Round 4 of the draft is happening. Just started about 15 minutes ago. And but we've had the first 3 rounds, and as you guys know, I'm the big time Eagles fan. Eagles fan for the last, 35 years, 36 years of being an Eagles fan. So I've seen the ups, I've seen the downs, I've seen the bad years, seen the great years, seen the Super Bowl, all the things. And the Eagles had the 22nd pick of the draft this year in the first round, and there was rumors they were looking to move up in the draft, and they didn't have to. How it fell to them, they got their cornerback, and they didn't have to move up. And Howie Roseman, as we know, true wheeler and dealer as he is, and this guy does so much with it when it comes to making trades, making moves. I don't know how he does it. Like he's a capologist. He's all those things. And as the general manager of the Eagles, and he somehow gets people to deal with him. He moves up in the draft. He moves down the draft. He moved down a lot in the second and third round, and got picks and all these. But how he was able to stand pat where there was all these moves being made, all these rumors of him making a move, and he ended up just staying pat in the first round and got one of the top 5 corners heading into this draft. Quinyon Mitchell from Toledo, 6 foot, 195 pounds cornerback. That was one of the needs that the Eagles, one of the needs the Eagles need that they needed, and I think they needed secondary help, linebacker. They might need another receiver, but he was on the phones and trying to move up, and he was able to, like I say, he was able to stay where he was, and Quinyon Mitchell fell to him, and uh then they got him. So Quinyon Mitchell is an Eagle from Toledo. Like I said, cornerback, uh, ran a fourth. I think he ran a 4.3 in the 40. So he's a two-time first team All MAC pick, second team All American in 2023. And he's a record-setting ball production, 40 career starts. So this is his scouting report here. His strengths. I mean, the Eagles needed secondary help because they have Slaves getting older and coming off injury, Bradbury. So they're getting like they're very old. They looked old last year. They was getting burnt. Slade's still a good corner, but Bradbury, you could tell he took a dip from 2 seasons ago to what he did last year, and he was getting beat. So Eagles just needed some young talent in the secondary. So they got two of them. So I'm gonna get to the other corner that they end up getting, but Quinyon Mitchell. Just said he always has he could play off the ball, he could play man, he could play zone. He had long arms, fast. Like I said, he ran a 4.3 in the 40. Competitive. And when he was at the Senior Bowl, he was. If you've seen the tape of him at the Senior Bowl, he was dominating during that time at the Senior Bowl, and he was checking all the top wide receivers. And this was a a very stacked wide receiver group too in this draft. So Quinyon Mitchell was right with them at the Senior Bowl. So there was enough for him. He could play in the slot, but he could play on the outside. And one of the things he has to do is add some bulk. But I love the move because, like I said, the Eagles needed this pick, or they needed a corner, and they got it. But they didn't just end it there. They didn't just say, we rest on just getting Quinyon Mitchell. Let's go and get Cooper DeJean from Iowa, who was projected to be a top 15, top 20 pick as well, another top 5 corner. The Eagles ended up moving up to get Cooper DeJean, another corner, a guy that can actually play inside, outside, and in the backfield. And shout out to all those on Instagram as well. Thank you for tuning in. Got my man Mike Patton. Thank you always for the support, man. And yes, the General MP himself, Mr. NR Hour, Nathan Ramasandra from the NR Hour Sports Show podcast as well. And he says in the comments, let me know, Mike, what you think of the Tennessee Titans and their picks that they've done so far. He said Cooper DeJean could be the first white corner to start in the NFL since Jason Sehorn. Yeah. Yeah, and then Cooper DeJean as a jack of all trades, a Swiss Army knife. And the only reason why he dropped because he had they didn't know how healthy he was. He had a broken leg, broken tibula during the season. So he dropped, and the Eagles was able to scoop him up. That's why I said I don't know how he does it, where he finds these, how he's able to negotiate and move up in the draft and move down in the draft and everything too. And he says in the comments, I actually like the picks for the Titans, fit both needs and with brute force too. Yeah, I agree. 100% agree with the Tennessee Titans. So, and Mike, we got to do a show, man. We got to do another show together during, right before the season starts. So be on the lookout for the invite and when the NFL season starts, or even before. So yeah, he covers he totally covers the AFC South. So check him out with his show as well. But Cooper DeJean, again, 6'1", 205 pounds. He's also he kick returner, punt returner, multi-sport star. He played basketball, track. He ran track, football. He's physical. He's fast. He's a hybrid. He's going to play the hybrid role. He could be a corner. He could play safety. And I think I think when it comes down to it, he'll probably end up playing. He's probably going to end up playing safety for the Eagles, and I really believe that because he can play off the another one that can play off the ball. He's very physical, and he just has the skills as a corner. So I like that too. I think he'll just need the one thing with just a little bit more seasoning for a full time role as a cover corner because with footwork is a little something he can work on and certain things that scouts had said. This is one of the scouting reports. Gets beats by double moves a little bit and things like that, and some elite athletes can give him some trouble, but he has all the other tools. So the Eagles I'm excited. I'm very excited that they're working on the defense. And before the draft, they were able to extend AJ Brown's contract. So AJ Brown got paid a lot of money. I think it was like 90. If I had the number, I think it's like 95 million 3-year extension. So the Eagles are just extending they're extending their contracts. They're extending they're extending their own players, I should say, in their contracts because Devontae Smith just got re-signed. So Devontae Smith and AJ Brown are set for the next 3 to 5 years. Jalen Hurts, who signed, got his contract last season, so that core, and then Dallas Goedert, I think he's a free agent next year. But if he has a great year, it stays healthy, has a great year, the Eagles offense should get back on track. Now, last year was, I feel like this last season is an anomaly. So I really believe that they're going to get back on track. So they're just working on the defense because the defense was a weak spot this past season, and I think Jalen Hurts is hearing the noise. Leadership skills is being questioned, and he turned the ball over a lot this past year. Also, a lot of different things has happened, like the offensive coordinator situation, first time as a coordinator with the new system. So I think a lot, and some of it's Jalen. I'm not gonna sit here in front and say it's not Jalen. Some of it was Jalen Hurts, and he did take a couple steps back from the MVP caliber year he had, Super Bowl caliber year he had 2 seasons ago. So some of it is him, but it's not all him. I think it was the offensive scheme. I think it was the offense took a step back. I think everyone gave us their best shot because of what they were able to do 2 years ago. But now I really believe the Eagles will turn around. They got the offense in place. Losing Kelsey hurts. Kelsey retired. That's going to be the leadership that he brought. Really does hurt, but offensive line is mostly intact, and we're just working on the defense. So I'm looking forward to see what they do later in this draft and the rounds. They picked up some other draft picks from the trade. They traded down and got some other picks. So I'm excited. I'm very, very excited to see how this roster pans out. So, but let's get into some other NFL draft things that happen. One of the biggest surprises is Michael Penix Jr. going to the Atlanta Falcons at number 8, where I believe quarterback wasn't a need at all. And there's been like a lot of takes on this already. Like it was a shocker because they picked a quarterback after they just signed Kirk Cousins in free agency, 180 million, 100 million guaranteed. And then now you pick up a quarterback in the top 10. Usually when you pick a franchise quarterback that high, they're usually going to be a starter. In Atlanta, they had other needs. They had needs at linebacker, defensive end, somebody that can rush the quarterback. They could address that at number 8. Now, it's nothing against Michael Penix because I feel like he's going to have a pretty good career. The man can sling the football. I'll tell you that he can play, and he led Washington to the national championship this past season. So the man can play. So Atlanta did see something in him, but I feel like if they were going to go and get a quarterback, they wouldn't have signed Kirk Cousins. Now this is $100 million. So now Kirk Cousins and his agent were shocked and surprised. Now Kirk Cousins is coming off a Achilles, and maybe that has something to do with it. But then Michael Penix is coming off. He's had a couple ACL tears, so he's coming off injuries too. But they and you know their general manager and coach are saying that Michael Penix could sit for 4 or 5 years. This is not an Aaron Rodgers. To me, this is not an Aaron Rodgers situation where he sat with Brett Favre. Aaron Rodgers, when he was drafted late in the first round, where he was able to sit with 3 years, I believe, and learn. Now, Michael Penix can do the same thing, but when you draft somebody that high, they more than likely are going to start. And they just, like I said, I just don't feel like they need to put their assets in that position. They could have got a quarterback later if they were looking for their backup for Kirk Cousins. So it's all fine and dandy now. I know Kirk Cousins, he called Michael Penix and congratulated him and welcomed him. But as a competitor, and Kirk Cousins is a what? Top 15 quarterback, puts up huge numbers in the regular season, and like I said, Atlanta went out and paid him a lot of money. Then and 100 million guaranteed, and then you go in and get someone as talented as Michael Penix. That could be a quarterback controversy, and I believe it's going to be. So I don't know. I didn't know about that. I'm a little surprised by that, but we'll see how that pans out. In Atlanta, they seem like they're in win now mode. You know, getting like I said, when you get you have Kirk Cousins, 30, I think he's 36, 37, exactly, coming off a major injury. But when you have Kirk Cousins, you have the offensive talent that you have in Bijan Robinson, super dynamic running back. Uh, they got Drake London at receiver, and also they have the tight end. Oh, geez. Okay, I just think of his name, but they have the tight end. You know, you have the pieces in place, and you just were a quarterback away. And you think Kirk Cousins could take you to that, at least be the top team in the NFC South. So now you got Michael Penix now and backing up. Because look at this. Say if this happens, you get Kirk. You have Kirk Cousins, and say he struggles out the gate. Say he gets it there on a 4 or 5 game losing streak. You don't think that the fans are going to want Michael Penix to come in? You really don't think that? It's like, come on. You can't. Kyle Pitts, tight end. Kyle Pitts. I had to look that up because it would have bothered me. Kyle Pitts. So you got Kyle Pitts, you got Drake London, and you have Bijan Robinson. So you have your running back, you have your top receiver, and you have your top tight end, and then you had a quarterback in Kirk Cousins. So you don't think, like, if he goes on, say he struggles and they go on a 5-6 game losing streak, say in the beginning of the year, they go start 0-5, 1-6. Kirk Cousins struggles coming off the injury. You think the fans are not going to go and want Michael Penix to play? You know, I mean, you picked them high, you picked them at 8th, top 10. So why you don't really lead that? So yeah, I was kind of surprised by that pick, but hey, they got their quarterback for the future for sure. But how long do you keep them sitting on the bench as a top 10 pick? That's my question. So yeah, they could have went a lot of different routes. Like I said, they needed edge rusher. They needed edge rusher. They needed a defensive lineman, corner. They could have went a lot of different routes, and they didn't. So yeah, I just didn't get that. But quarterbacks went 1, 2, 3. No surprise there. There was the top 3 teams that needed quarterbacks. Receivers, Marvin Harrison was the first receiver off the board with Arizona. Arizona didn't get too cute. They were like, we're going to get one of the top, if not the top receiver in this draft, which was deep. It got interesting because we didn't know what the Giants were going to do. The NFC East, my NFC East rival, the New York Giants, because there was talk about them moving out to get a quarterback, and they were in the market. They were in the market to get a quarterback, and I think once the top 3 went, and they couldn't move up, they couldn't get to New England because New England was the wild card of what they were going to do. and they, with Minnesota possibly moving up, trying to get that. Now, if you read the rumors and you read the reports, Minnesota was, I think they offered New England 3 first-round picks to move up to number 3, and New England didn't take that. If that's true, I mean, New England, if that's true, you could have got 3 first-round picks, and you would have got the number 10 pick, and still could have got a quarterback, maybe JJ McCarthy, where he went to Minnesota. If that is true, you could have really got all those picks and had Minnesota's first round picks for the next couple of years. But New England didn't do that. They stand back too. And I think the Giants had offered something. I know they offered 3, but they offered something to move up. So if they were willing to move up, they were trying to get a quarterback. Once the 3 quarterbacks went in, New England didn't make any trades or anything like that, or Washington didn't budge on trading either. The Giants were like, let's go in and get a receiver, and they end up getting Malik Neighbors. Now they just need a guy that can throw the football, stay healthy, throw the football. If Daniel Jones, if he can just stay healthy for one and able to throw the football, then I could see them. Daniel Jones is an average quarterback. The Giants, they got other needs too. I mean, this is not going to put them over the top, but Daniel Jones got paid a lot of money to be the franchise player, and I think the Giants are giving him one more chance to really turn it around. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. But getting Malik Neighbors as one of the top receivers, that does help. So they have just got to have a guy that can be able to get him the football consistently. So we'll see if that works. But yeah, receivers was very heavy. It's even as the second and third round, you saw a lot of defensive players. It was mostly offense in the first round. Second and third round was more defensive players. So yeah, this draft was good. It's been good. I've watched more of this draft than I usually do. So, but I'm like I said, I love what my Eagles did. I love what some other teams did, and I hope your team's got some of the players. So I'm excited to see how all these rosters turn out, and we'll dive more deep into that once football season starts. So, all right, I got a couple more topics before I let you guys go. Again, thank everyone that's watching on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, YouTube. But I wanted to get into some NBA playoffs. Man, this first round started out slow. Some of the games, blowouts, things like that. But now it's starting to really pick up, and there's some surprises, and some not so much. I would start with the Denver and Lakers. I mean, the Denver Nuggets they are toying with the LA Lakers. And I feel sort of bad for LeBron and AD, because Anthony Davis and LeBron James are doing everything they can. And the Lakers have had double-digit leads at halftime, double-digit leads in the second half, and they've squandered and blew it. So it's almost like Denver is just – and Denver has beaten them 11 straight times. You're talking from last year's playoffs where they swept them in the conference finals. And now they're up 3-0 in this first round series, and they swept them in the regular season. Denver is just flat out the better team, flat out just a better overall team, the better. They just all from top to bottom, the coaching from the players, and the Lakers can't stop them. And AD has been like balling. I'm talking balling. Like he's healthy, and I think he's averaging like 30. He's averaging over 30, 32 points, something like that. And he's rebounding, and he's taking it to Joker. But then Joker just fourth quarter, Joker's just being Joker. He's just doing his thing as always. And Jamal Murray, even hitting the game-winning shot in game 2 over Anthony Davis, had 6 points, and in fourth quarter just took over. So they in Denver they could beat you in so many ways. They could beat you with shooting the three. They could beat you uh, just going through Joker. And if he has one of those nights, and Jamal Murray can have one of those nights, Michael Porter Jr. can have one of those nights. Aaron Gordon, who dominated last game. So Denver, they're starting five with KCP. They can beat you in a lot of ways. If they're all going, there's no team. I don't care. There's no team in the league can beat Denver. No team. Not Boston, even in the East. Not Boston, not Milwaukee. They even had a healthy Giannis. Uh, the Knicks, Philly, none of these teams can beat Denver. And even in the West, as good as OKC has been, OKC's they put it on the Pelicans, and Pelicans they just don't they seem that they can't contend without Zion. So in that regard, and Shea Gilchrist Alexander, man, I, MVP, I probably uh, this guy's balling, and he's leading this young team in OKC. So I mean Minnesota, another team. I'm actually looking forward to seeing this Minnesota Denver, which it looks like it's going to be. Uh, it's definitely going to be that series. That's going to be a really good series because I mean, man, Minnesota. But get back to the Lakers, and then you got D'Angelo Russell not getting into the huddle, and he's not going to be a Laker next year. I just don't see it at all. I don't because when you're struggling, he's not engaged into the game or anything like that. So the Lakers are not coming back. They're down 0-3. They might get a game, but not by the looks of it. They look checked out. The rest of them, I should say, look checked out. Austin Reeves, he showed up finally in the last game, but man, it's not even. It doesn't look good for the Lakers, and I don't know now what they're going to do, how they're going to move forward. LeBron's getting up in age, and he maybe one more year and everything too. So I don't know. I I just can't really see it, but man, I'm looking forward to this if it gets to it, this Denver and Minnesota game coming up. Suns got beat again by Minnesota. Minnesota, they got size, they got length, they're playing solid defense. And Anthony Edwards, my goodness, Daniels, these guys, they ball it, and they Phoenix. What is up with Phoenix too? Like Booker, KD, and Bradley Beal. I mean, Kevin Durant, his teams haven't been the same. I mean, he can't get out of first, second round anymore. Ever since he left Golden State. So I mean, it's just getting to the point where Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, LeBron James, these are the guys. These three guys getting put out of first rounds now or not making the playoffs. It's sad that three of the greatest players of all time getting in the back end of their careers. I mean, Curry's still playing high level. LeBron at 39 still playing on the highest levels and things like that, but their teams are just not good enough. Not against these teams now, these young teams. So, but Minnesota's making Phoenix look old and slow. Uh, and that's what Denver, the Lakers look old and slow. I just, yeah, this Minnesota, they up 3-0 on Phoenix, dominating them. And, so yeah, this the Minnesota and Denver, if it gets to it, and, I'm not getting too far ahead, but they're up 3-0 in these series. These series are just about over. Lakers are done. I'm predicting Lakers are done. Uh, Phoenix is done. So yeah, these teams, they're just not. They're not good enough. They don't have a good from top to bottom a good enough team, enough depth. But Minnesota's got depth, and yeah, they'll give Denver, I think, some issues because of their size and their length, and they can match up with their size. But Denver, with their championship caliber team, just does well. Shout out to my cousin Sheila. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for the shout. Thank you for the comment. Shout out. Appreciate it. Definitely appreciate that. And but yeah, this playoffs is good. Let's go to the East and talk about that. Oh, let me talk about the in the West also. Let's talk about uh the Dallas Mavericks too. Dallas Mavericks playing defense. Luka Doncic is actually playing defense, showing some toughness. I mean, Dallas too is they giving it to the Clippers, man, giving it to them. And now Kawhi, who came back, and you could tell the chemistry is a little off. And now he's saying his knee's not responding. Kawhi cannot stay healthy, and you could tell with him, it's one of those things like, if he is healthy, is he going to play? He really takes it. I mean, hey, take your health serious, but he's just deteriorating, man, and they don't look right. And then Russell Westbrook, he gets ejected yesterday, and Harden played decent, has played decent, and except for I think game two where they was trying to they was trying to rely on Kawhi, but I don't know, man. Dallas looks good, and the thing I like about what Dallas is doing, Luka can get whatever he wants whenever he wants against those good defenders. Paul George's a good defender. Kawhi's a good defender, just not healthy. And now Kawhi might not be playing them. I think tomorrow they play. He's saying his knee hasn't. He's iffy. He's questionable. So I don't know. And we'll see. We'll see what happens there. But Dallas, I think Dallas wins this series. They just look the better team. And what I was getting to, my point was I was getting to when Luka gets whatever he wants and he's leading his team. The thing I'm liking about this version of the Mavericks is you have Kyrie Irving, and Kyrie's loving this is a more mature Kyrie, who is a champion, won a championship in Cleveland, played on championship team in Cleveland, sitting back and saying, Luka, you do your thing. I'll just pick my spots. And when you get a guy like Kyrie that can do it, because Kyrie could just be like, hey, I want to get mine too. And they feed off of that. They feed off each other. But when Luka's on the bench, which is rarely, he's playing 40 plus minutes because Dallas has to have him play, but they can sit him and they won't lose a beat because Kyrie Irving's right there as his wingman. So they surprisingly are playing. And like I said, they're playing defense. They're just getting. They're running up and down the floor. They again, another team is making they're making the Clippers look old, and the Clippers look real old because they can't keep up. Luka is dictating whatever he wants to do, and if he wants to pass, he wants to dribble and get into the lane. He wants that step back three. They can't. They're not stopping him. They cannot stop Luka Doncic. So yeah, it's that series is the Clippers won the first. They won the first game where Dallas just then was hitting shots, and then the Mavericks just won the next two, dominating. So yeah, but let's go slide to the East real quick. Milwaukee losing to Indiana. What a game that was, though. Game three, big shot after big shot. I mean, Chris Middleton. I mean, they've been waiting all year for that. Chris Middleton. He had 40 yesterday. Was hit big shots to tie it, and they went in overtime. And Indiana pulled it out in overtime, winning that game. So now they're up 2-1. They don't look. Milwaukee can't just do it with Dame and just Dame. They definitely need Giannis, and who knows what if Giannis is even coming back in this series or not. I can't see it. Halliburton hit the game winner yesterday for Indiana, and they're that team. They just love to run up and down the floor, fast. They always fast breaking, and Milwaukee's not getting back. Doc Rivers, it just shows you Doc Rivers took that job mid-season, and I think it just messed up everything and messed up their chemistry because they were winning with Adrian Griffin. But I know there was some internal stuff happening in Milwaukee, but it just Doc Rivers taking over coaching just hasn't turned it around at all. And I know Giannis is out. I think if Giannis was in, if he was healthy, he was playing, I think they beat Indiana. But man, Indiana with that young team and just running up and down the floor. These teams, and they're just running and hitting jumper. I mean, Indiana, as soon as they get the ball, if it's a offensive rebound, off a rebound, or they taking it out, they just running up and not waiting for Milwaukee to set up. So I don't. Yeah, that series could go either way. I said Orlando won. They won on Thursday against Cleveland. Cleveland's still up 2-1 in that series, so Orlando has a chance to tie that series this today. And then you have Boston losing to Miami. Oh, now Boston 1-1. And that's the thing I think with the Celtics, just to get into the Celtics real quick, as good as they've been in this regular season, they might have these couple of games where you might think, how did you lose? Like, but Miami, they even without Jimmy Butler, just a that just goes to show you that Eric Spoelstra is a top coach, if not the best coach in basketball. This guy knows how to bring the best out of his players, and he has them believing that they have a chance to beat the top team in the top team period in the NBA. And Boston goes through these spurts, and I think that's what's so they should still beat Miami, but those letdowns, and you can't have that. As good as that team as they are, they should not be having those letdowns. And Miami just took it to them, and led by Bam Adebayo and Tyler Hero and all those guys. It's like you have to. Boston has to bring it every night, and they have one of those nights where they look disengaged, disinterested, whatever you want to call it. That's how they looked, and then they got beat. And Miami hit all those threes, and that's all it takes. If they could just get hot, I don't know if Miami's gonna hit those threes again, but Boston's they probably ticked off, and it's gonna get to a point where they're gonna have to get back and show why they're the number one seed. But Tatum and Brown gonna have to, and you know they're gonna have to Drew Holiday and those and Porzingis, they're gonna have to just take over. But Eric Spoelstra, man, you do not doubt the Heat and that Heat culture and that coaching, because Eric Spoelstra, like I said, probably the best coach, arguably the best coach in basketball. So I'm interested in that series. But and then you got the Philly and then you got the Sixers and the Knicks. And I mean, this series has been chippy. It's been these guys, and I tell you this, Joel Embiid, he is very lucky, very fortunate. He did not get ejected for that. That was a flagrant foul. If you guys didn't see that, he was falling on the ground on the floor, and when he fell, Mitchell Robinson got the offensive rebound and was trying to go for a dunk, and Joel Embiid yanked his leg and his foot and his leg when he was jumping. Like, you could seriously injure someone that way. I'm not saying Joel Embiid's a dirty player, but that was a dirty play. Like, that was a real dirty play. And he was just like, he just had enough because he was like, he thought like that he didn't want nobody because he's hobbled. He's playing on one leg. But he had 50 points too. I mean, dominated. He took the Sixers here down 2-0, came back here to Philly and won that game and then 2-1. So if he gets into that Joel Embiid, where he's one of the best big men, if not the best big man, you got to watch out. They could tie the series and win this and still win the series. But he's very lucky that he didn't get ejected. That should have been a flagrant 2 because he pulled his leg, and Mitchell Robinson did get injured. I don't even know if he's even playing. I think he's questionable. I think he had surgery on that knee, and now you have that. So I don't know. I don't know how that's going to play out. But that's been a good series. It's been a really good series, and Joel Embiid's dealing with a lot of different things too. Besides with the injury and everything too. So yeah, he's dealing with some health things as well. So let's just say he's fighting through it. He's being strong with it. So I give Joel Embiid a lot of credit for being out there and really showing up. And he's been sorry, yeah, he's dealing with Bell's palsy, which is a condition, facial paralysis that's affecting him, and he's fighting through it. So I give the utmost respect for Joel Embiid being out there. And he said, I think he said his left side of his face is swollen and everything too. But yeah, he's dealing with the Bell's palsy with that. Like I said, facial paralysis where his eye and his jaw and mouth could be droopy and things like that. So yeah, I hope pray and hope for the best for Joel Embiid. But we got some breaking news too. We was just talking about the Milwaukee Bucks and Dame Lillard has a strained Achilles. Breaking news: Lillard is serious doubt for Game 4 with a walking boot. Oh my! Ugh, ugh. This was from Charania Shams, as we call him, NBA insider. Yeah, Milwaukee Bucks star Dame Lillard has suffered a strained Achilles and then a walking boot and is very doubtful for his availability in Game 4. So they're already down Giannis, and now they might be down Dame. Wow. Milwaukee does. I don't think they have a chance. That means Chris Middleton. We just got the best Chris Middleton game in over a year this past, and they still lost. And now he's gonna have to put up 30, 40 again. Man, just wasn't Milwaukee's year this year. So Indiana's got to take advantage of this. Man, I feel bad for that. And Dame goes to a good team with championship aspiration, leaves Portland and gets traded to Milwaukee, and now dealing with unfortunate injury. Man, just heartbreaking on that end. So, all right, last topic before I let you go. I went longer than I said I was going to, but just it's been just a good discussion and everything. But I want to get into the WNBA. We just had the draft a couple weeks ago, and just the growth of women's sports continues to climb, continues to build viewership. It is going to translate to the WNBA. Very excited. This draft class, 2024 draft class, has been tremendous. I mean, they broke records for the draft and viewership numbers. You could call it the Caitlin Clark effect, but Cameron Brink and Cardosa and Camila Cardosa and Angel Reese. I mean, there was so many big stars, and now they're all in the W. I'm excited, very, very excited. You guys, if you guys don't know, I'm a big women's basketball fan, advocate, everything about it, everything about women's basketball. When WNBA started back in 97, 98, I was watching it, cheering for it. I mean, some of my favorite players has come from Cynthia Cooper is my favorite women's basketball player of all time. Maya Moore, Dinah Taurasi, Cheryl Swoops, Candace Parker, Shamika Holslaw. Don't forget about Shamika Holslaw, Tamika Catching. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. Brianna Stewart, Sue Bird, like so many. I mean, I list them all. So Asia Wilson. Like, if you really so I'm excited. I'm gonna do this next month, WNBA starting. I'm gonna be having discussions probably every day in May, every other day in May, having someone who either covers women's basketball, a former athlete, whatever. I'm gonna put out the invite, kind of like when I did in my series with Women History Month in March, which was a huge success. I mean, I had I think 15, 20 women that came on the show, incredible women from media to writing and everything. So I'm putting it out there, just going to put it out there now. The WNBA, when it starts in mid-May, I'm going to have a series where we're going to talk about the biggest headlines, because this year is going to be a big year and it's already, but this year, from the huge success of the women's college basketball March Madness and the ratings monster that was Final Four, the championship, and all the tournament games translating into the W. I'm just I'm like, I mean, I've been excited all those years, but I'm very excited this year too. So I'm gonna try to have, as you said, writers, media members, journalists. If I could get some athletes, anyone that covers women's basketball, I'm going to have on the show. We're going to just have a huge discussion. I'm just going to give just this platform. I want to give this platform for women's basketball to continue, and we continue to keep pushing women's basketball. I'm loving the the talking networks talking about, because I've been pushing it for years and years. You can check all my podcasts. You can check previous podcasts on that. I've been on podcasts, and I always said when major networks are invested, fans will watch. And now people are jumping on. New fans are jumping on. I'm not one of those ones. I know a lot of media people are they poke at people that are, oh, you guys are new to this. That's great. Come on board. Come on board, because women's basketball, women's sports is where it is. And I welcome it. Hey, if you're a fan of just Caitlin Clark, so be it. So be it. You follow her career in college and you follow her to the WNBA. I think it just helps. It does help the growth of the game. It does. I don't care what anyone says. It helps the growth of the game, of the women's game. It's not just Caitlin Clark. I think that's where former players of this generation, players in the WNBA, things like that. It's not just Caitlin Clark. There's a lot of great players, But if fans love Caitlin Clark and that's what they are following, who they're following, it helps. And for Caitlin Clark, and everyone's saying, will her game translate into the WNBA? Yes, it will. It will, because she's a shooter. And shooters shoot. Uh, Sabrina Ionescu said the same thing. Steph Curry said it. Shooters shoot. And then, and if you have Caitlin Clark, who's one of the best scorers and shooters we've ever seen on any side, she's going to get her shot off. There's other things in her game. She will work on her defense. She has to work on that. But every player has a weakness, or every player has something to work on. You don't think she's going to work on that? She's going to work on her. Yes, she's her foot speed. Yes, to keep in. Yeah, and these women are coming. That she has a target, but she's going to take the challenge. She just goes in hoops. So I'm looking forward to see what she does. I'm looking forward to see what Cameron Brink does, Rakia Jackson. I'm looking forward to seeing all these players, what they do. Angel Reese and Cordosa on the same team in Chicago. But yeah, we're just gonna have a big time discussion, big time preview, WNBA preview shows I'm doing. I'm gonna do we got new headlines. I'm just trying to get a bunch of people on for next month. I might put out the tweet today and just who I would love on the show, who would like to come on the show and just talk women's sports, women's basketball, the growth of it, this upcoming season. And it's not going to be just all, just women. Anybody can come on this show. Brandon Bean, thank you for tuning in, man. Thank you for the follow too, man. Yes, I'm gonna reach out to you too, and let's just have this discussion. But yeah, I'm just gonna open it up starting May 1st, because the season, I think preseason starts next week, I believe. So, and I think the season starts on the 11, 13, starts that week. So for the next 2 weeks, you're going to get a lot of WNBA, women's basketball, women's sports content. So if you want to get in and get on the show, want to be on the show, let me know. I'm going to put out, like I said, I'm going to put out the tweet probably today. And yeah, so be on the lookout for that WNBA content, women's sports content over the next couple of weeks. So I'm very, very excited, always having a series of doing these things. All right, well, that is a wrap for the show. I would like to thank everyone that tuned in. Always appreciates the sharing of the content, the likes, subscribe to the Apple, subscribe to the Roku channel, BS3 TV app on Roku. Spreaker.com. We're on iHeartRadio. I mean, we're all over the place. Like I said, the ones that tune in on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram Live. Thank you. Thank you. Can't thank you enough. Spotify, audio, Spotify, Apple. Subscribe to Apple, subscribe to Spotify, Google. Oh, I don't think Google even has it anymore. Google Play. I don't think Google Play even exists anymore. I think yeah, because I can't listen to podcasts on there anymore. So no, I don't think no more Google at all. But you could just anywhere you get podcast, you listen to your podcast. We're there. Like I said, iHeart, Spreaker, and all those things. But yes, thank you again for everyone tuning in. Hope everyone enjoys the weekend. It's supposed to be nice weather here in Philly, at least. You're supposed to get 70s and 80s next couple of days. So I'm trying to get out the next couple of days. Been feeling under the weather a little bit yesterday and a little bit today. So, but we fight through. So enjoy the rest of the NBA playoff first round. Enjoy the rest of the NFL draft. Like I said, look forward to the W as well. But until next time, peace. And as always, God bless.